Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Definitely.
Today we're going to be tackling Mandarin Chinese,
Ooh, fun.
but we're going way beyond, just the usual, like, China's economy is huge narrative. We've got some articles and research here that reveal why Mandarin is becoming so vital to
Right.
you no matter what you're into.
Yeah.
So global economics, cutting-edge tech, ancient culture,
Hmm.
even political savvy, we're uncovering how Mandarin is kind of like this doorway into this world that is changing so rapidly.
It's a fascinating lens, I think, to look at the world through.
Oh, absolutely. Get ready for some really surprising insights, guys.
Yeah, I think one of those fascinating things is when we talk about opportunities,
Right.
it's easy to just think about, okay, China's got this massive economy, but these sources go deeper.
Right.
For example, one of them really emphasizes that learning Mandarin isn't just about doing business with China, it's about being able to tap into sectors that they're actually leading in.
Yeah, I was blown away reading about just how much China is dominating renewable energy right now.
Oh, absolutely.
And, if you're interested in sustainability, I mean, that's where the jobs are going to be.
That's where the future is, yeah.
And guess what skill is in super high demand?
Exactly. And it's not just about understanding, you know, basic business deals.
Right.
It's about collaborating on really technical stuff.
Yeah.
There was another source I was reading that pointed out how companies outside of China, especially in things like AI
Yeah.
and robotics, they're really prioritizing people with Mandarin skills.
Wow.
So it's becoming the language of innovation in a lot of ways.
So basically, even if you're not planning on like packing up and moving to Shanghai, knowing Mandarin could be a huge boost to your career
Oh, yeah.
here right now,
Absolutely.
here at home. But here's what really caught my eye. The articles, they go beyond just business and tech. There's this whole other dimension to Mandarin. It's almost like it's a key to like a secret world of culture.
Yes. One of the sources put it so beautifully, describing it as, unlocking centuries of history, literature, philosophy.
Right.
But like in their original context.
Wow.
Imagine reading Confucius or Sun Tzu,
Right.
not in some, translated version, but experiencing their words like they were meant to be read.
I admit I hadn't thought about it that way before.
Yeah.
It suddenly makes learning Mandarin, I don't know, it feels less like I'm cracking open a textbook and more like I'm going on an adventure.
Absolutely. And that cultural understanding, I think it's invaluable if you're into diplomacy, international relations,
Sure.
or even if you just want to understand the news with
Okay.
more like depth, China's role in places like the UN is growing so rapidly.
Yeah.
And understanding, their motivations, their perspectives.
Right.
It's crucial in today's world.
Which brings us to this other point that really kind of hit home for me.
Yeah.
China's not just on the rise, economically and culturally. They are at the forefront of technology in some very specific, interesting ways.
Yeah.
I was so surprised to learn how far ahead they are in stuff like space exploration and even like electric vehicles.
It's easy to just say China's good at tech.
Yeah.
But these sources get into the specifics.
Yeah.
Like one highlighted a specific Chinese space program that's aiming to build a lunar research base.
Oh.
And it made me think, if you're a scientist or an engineer in that field,
Right.
wouldn't you want to be able to like access their research?
Absolutely.
Potentially even collaborate with them.
Yeah, it's like suddenly Mandarin isn't just like a cool party trick.
Right.
It's like a ticket into some of the most exciting fields of the future.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of the future, we can't overlook education.
Right.
Chinese universities are climbing up those global rankings.
That's right. Yeah.
And a lot of them require Mandarin proficiency if you want to get scholarships or research positions.
Wow.
So this could be huge for anyone thinking about studying abroad or pursuing those higher degrees.
It's amazing to me how all these threads connect, I never thought that learning Mandarin could be my path to, like, working on a moon base.
Right.
But here we are. It could happen.
It really highlights how it's more than just a language. It's this, like, gateway to this whole world of opportunities and possibilities.
Absolutely. Now I know what you might be thinking out there.
Yeah.
Learning Mandarin
Maybe
seems daunting. Daunting, right? All those characters, the tones.
Where do you even start?
Where do you even begin?
Right.
Well, the good news is the sources we dug into actually make it seem approachable,
Yeah.
even fun.
One of the articles I was reading does a fantastic job of explaining pinyin,
Right.
which basically uses the Roman alphabet,
Yeah.
to represent Mandarin sounds. So it's like this nice, friendly stepping stone into the language.
Right, right. And then there's this whole thing with the tones, which at first seems so intimidating.
Oh, for sure.
But the article I read had this hilarious example.
Yeah, I think I read that same one.
It was about how if you get the tone wrong, instead of saying chicken, you might accidentally order air conditioning at a restaurant.
Exactly. It made me realize, tones are less about being, like, perfectly precise
Right.
and more about adding this, like, musicality to the language.
Right. So it's like each word has its own little melody.
Mm,
And once you kind of grasp that, it adds a whole new level of expression and depth.
for sure.
Okay, so pinyin and tones, somewhat demystified.
Yeah, we've tackled those.
But what about the infamous Chinese characters?
All right.
I mean, those still seem pretty intimidating.
They can be, but I like to think of it like, imagine you're a detective and you're solving a code.
Okay.
Each character is a clue, and as you learn more, you start to see the patterns, the connections.
And one of the sources pointed out, you don't have to memorize, like, thousands of characters right away.
No.
Even learning a few hundred of the most common ones unlocks a good chunk of written Chinese.
Yeah,
So that's a relief.
absolutely. It's a gradual process.
Yeah.
But it is so rewarding to start recognizing those characters out in the world.
Yeah.
It's like you're unlocking this visual poetry.
I love that.
Yeah, a whole new way of seeing the world.
That is a beautiful way to put it. And you know what else is great? These days, there are so many different ways to learn Mandarin.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Right. We've got apps, online platforms, traditional classes, immersive experiences through media, you name it.
You can find something that really fits your style.
Exactly. And that variety means you can find a method that works for you.
Yeah.
Whether you like that structured classroom setting or you prefer the flexibility of learning on your own time.
Yeah, there's a path for everyone.
There's a path for everyone. So we've covered a lot in this first part of our deep dive, right? We've seen how Mandarin is more than just a language. It's a key that unlocks economic opportunities, cultural insights,
For sure.
technological advancements, and even educational pathways.
And while the journey might seem a little challenging at first,
Yep.
it is so rewarding. It's about expanding your horizons, connecting with this global community, and seeing the world in this totally new way.
I love that. You know, one thing that keeps coming up in these sources
Yeah.
is this idea that learning Mandarin is kind of like unlocking a visual code, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just about the sounds. It's about the beauty and the logic
Okay.
of the characters themselves.
It really changes how you perceive language.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started learning, I was so struck by how the character for mountain literally looks like three peaks.
Yeah.
Literally looks like three peaks,
Yeah.
just side by side.
Wow.
It's like there's a little picture
Right.
built right into the word.
That is such a good example.
Yeah.
And it makes me think about how each character has this whole story behind it, often rooted in these like ancient pictographs.
Yeah.
It's no wonder that calligraphy is like a revered art form over there.
Right, exactly. And the more you learn, the more you see those connections.
Yeah.
I was reading about how the character for Crisis, for example, combines the symbols for danger and opportunity.
Oh, wow.
And it's like this powerful reminder
Yeah.
that even in difficult times, there's always potential for growth.
I'd never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
Well, it's like you're not just learning vocabulary,
Right.
you're learning a whole philosophy.
It's embedded in the language itself.
Wow. That's what makes it so captivating. Right?
Or absolutely. It's like you're peeling back these layers of history and culture with every new character.
Now, I know that a lot of people get intimidated
Oh, yeah.
by the sheer number of characters out there.
It's overwhelming.
But one of the articles I was reading really put my mind at ease about that.
Me too.
It emphasized that you don't need to know thousands of characters to even just be conversational.
Yeah, you did.
In fact,
right.
with just a few hundred
Right.
of the most commonly used ones, you can understand a surprising amount
Yeah.
of written Chinese.
So much more than you would think.
That's a relief to hear.
Absolutely.
And it ties into this other point that I thought was really interesting.
Yeah.
Learning Mandarin doesn't have to mean you're like holed up in a library somewhere
Right.
with stacks of textbooks.
Yeah, the old school method.
Right.
We're past that.
These sources really highlight how many resources are available these days.
Oh, we are living a golden age of language learning.
I know.
You got apps like Duolingo, Hello Chinese.
I love those.
They make it fun, interactive.
Yeah.
You got online platforms like Coursera, where you can take like legit, university-level Mandarin courses from anywhere in the world.
It's amazing.
It's incredible.
And let's not forget the power of immersion through media.
Oh, yes.
Like, I remember when I first started learning, I was surprised by how much I enjoyed watching, like, Chinese variety shows.
Oh, they're so fun.
They're hilarious, and it was such a natural way to pick up everyday slang and those expressions.
Yeah, the stuff you don't get in a textbook. Immersing yourself in Chinese movies, TV shows, music, even social media.
Oh, yeah.
Makes a world of difference.
It does. It really does.
You start to get a feel for that rhythm and flow of the language,
Yeah.
the humor,
Mm-hmm.
the cultural nuances.
Right. It really brings it to life.
It does.
It's like you're not just learning the words, you're absorbing the culture itself.
Exactly.
And that's what makes it so much more than just a linguistic exercise, right?
It's an experience.
It is, yeah. And speaking of seeing the world differently,
Yeah.
one of the articles mentioned that learning Mandarin can actually like boost your cognitive skills.
That's right. There are all these studies now that show learning a tonal language like Mandarin can improve your memory,
Oh, wow.
enhance multitasking abilities, even sharpen your musical ear.
So it's like a workout for your brain.
It really is.
And who wouldn't want that?
I know, right? Especially when it comes with the bonus of being able to speak one of the most widely spoken languages in the world.
That's a win-win. You're challenging yourself intellectually, opening up these career opportunities, gaining a deeper understanding of a fascinating culture,
Right.
and maybe even having a little fun along the way.
Exactly.
So for anyone out there who's ever considered learning Mandarin, but felt a little intimidated or maybe unsure of where to start, I hope this deep dive has shown you that it's a challenge worth embracing.
Absolutely.
The rewards are huge.
Yeah.
And the journey itself is full of these unexpected discoveries and enriching experiences.
It's true.
And remember, there are so many resources out there to support you along the way.
Oh, there are?
Whether you choose to, go the more traditional route with classes or you want to explore the world of language learning apps and online platforms.
Yeah. Find what works for you.
The most important thing is that you find a method that works for you.
Right.
And you stick with it.
Yeah.
We've covered so much ground in this deep dive so far, from the economic and political significance to the cultural richness that it unlocks, to even just the practical aspects of learning this fascinating language.
Absolutely.
But as we move towards the final part of our exploration,
Okay.
we want to leave you with a question to ponder.
Ooh, I like this.
So we left you with that thought experiment. What would your life be like 5 years from now if you were fluent in Mandarin?
Oh, yeah.
What doors would be open to you? What experiences could you have? How would your whole worldview even be different?
It's fun to imagine.
It's really exciting to imagine, right?
Yeah.
And while that future self might seem far off,
Right.
one thing these sources really emphasize is that the benefits of learning Mandarin, they start right now.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just about the end goal of being fluent.
Right.
It's about the mindset that you cultivate along the way.
It's about the journey.
Yeah. One article I read, it said that learning Mandarin is like embracing the unknown.
I like that.
You have to be willing to step outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Challenge your assumptions about language and culture.
Challenge those assumptions.
Yeah.
It's so true. And in doing so, you discover this whole new way of thinking.
Yeah.
You start to appreciate like the subtle beauty of a tonal language, the logic and the history embedded in each character.
Yeah.
The rich tapestry of Chinese culture that spans millennia.
It's like you're not just learning a language.
Right.
You're expanding your capacity for understanding, for empathy, for connecting with people who see the world in a totally different way than you do.
Such a crucial skill these days.
It really is. And it makes me think about just how interconnected our world is becoming.
Yeah.
And Mandarin fluency, it's not just a nice to have anymore.
No.
It's becoming essential.
It is.
For anyone who wants to really engage with the world,
Oh, absolutely. It's about bridging those cultural divides.
Yeah.
Fostering understanding and unlocking opportunities
Right.
that wouldn't be possible otherwise.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into this world of Mandarin Chinese, we want to leave you with one final thought.
I'm ready.
If you could have a conversation with anyone in the world, someone who could offer you a unique perspective, share a different way of life, maybe even open up some new opportunity for you.
Ooh, I like this. Who would it be?
Yeah, who would it be?
And how would speaking Mandarin enrich that exchange? Would it deepen your understanding of their culture, their values, their worldview?
Right.
Would it lead to experiences you never even thought possible?
It's mind-blowing to think about.
Maybe it's a renowned Chinese artist, a tech
Yeah.
innovator pushing the boundaries of AI, a historian who can unlock the secrets of ancient dynasties,
Right.
or even just a local shopkeeper in a bustling Beijing market, sharing their stories and perspective.
Think about the possibilities.
Whoever it is, imagine the possibilities that open up
Yeah.
when you can connect with them on their terms, in their language.
It's a powerful reminder that language is more than just words.
Yeah,
It's a bridge to understanding, a key to unlocking a world of human connection.
I love that.
And who knows, maybe this deep dive has sparked a curiosity in you,
Yeah.
a desire to embark on your own linguistic adventure. If so, we encourage you to take that first step, embrace the challenge,
Yeah.
and discover all the incredible rewards that are waiting for you in the world of Mandarin Chinese.
It's worth it.
That's it for our deep dive today. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.